May I now invite His Excellency Ambassador Sant Agata, Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative of Italy to the United Nations. I must say, however, that the country of Italy and ambassador's country has been honoring us by hosting this conference. They have been one of the hosts for this international gathering, which we enormously appreciate and express our gratitude here for this, Mr. Ambassador. Please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vaidullah, and thank you, Dr. O, and especially great congratulations to the World Energy Forum for taking this initiative, which is extremely timely. I believe this is a season of intense deliberation and discussion here at the United Nations, especially in the perspective of what is the agenda of the United Nations at the end of September with the climate change summit and the beginning of the new session, the 64th session of the General Assembly. So I believe this is an extremely interesting debate and discussion among major players in the key issues of energy at the global level. Energy is obviously a topic of vital importance to all of us. Dr. Pachauri, the Nobel laureate and chair of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, recently called energy a missing development goal. In every meeting on global issues that I have attended since my arrival in New York, one of the main questions has been, how can we find a way to turn current economic challenges into an opportunity to put energy security and climate change on the right track? We are all aware of the current situation. The energy markets have been deeply affected by the financial crisis. Oil prices have fluctuated widely, defying forecasts of operators in the field and indicators on which prices are based. Now that the crisis seems to be leveling off, global demand for energy is predicted to experience moderate growth in the mid to long term, depending on the path that the recovery will take. One of the main driving forces behind the increased demand will be the economic and demographic growth of emerging countries. As a result, we might be confronted again with problems of increase in the price of fossil fuels. In the short term, we can address the issue of energy insecurity and prevent new shocks on the price of fossil fuel only by fostering a true dialogue and partnership between countries that produce fossil fuels, between the countries that consume them, and the countries of transit. The solution, in other words, lies first and foremost in strengthened multilateral cooperation. And here the United Nations is the main forum to promote this strengthened international cooperation. Returning now to my original question, that is, how to turn current economic challenges into an opportunity, I believe that a long-term strategy toward a more sustainable economic growth and energy security will have to be based on three components. A, promotion of a more responsible pattern of consumption, especially in the developed countries. B, increased energy efficiency. And C, a more widespread use of renewable sources. Let me elaborate briefly on these points. The progressive depletion of the planet's resources is a fact that our generation cannot ignore. Energy efficiency, which combines lower cost, competitiveness, and environmental sustainability, is one of the most immediate solutions to this challenge. To achieve this goal, we need to increase research into new technologies and heighten public awareness. And the United Nations, quite frankly, is setting an important and highly symbolic example with the Capital Master Plan, which will lead to a huge decrease in energy consumption for our community. On the issue of renewable sources, there are two major constraints on increased use: the high cost of the technology and their low density and energy potential. To overcome these challenges, we need to take a two-pronged approach. Government subsidies to help lower the cost of renewable sources to the consumer, and major investment into the research and development of new technology. So, on the one hand, governments have to master the political will, send the right political signals, and create market incentives that reward long-term investment into clean energy and innovation. On the other hand, the private sector also must invest in lower carbon technologies because they are the economic winners of the future, shifting away from dirty energy industries and from a use of energy that is doomed to become more and more expensive. In the Secretary General's opinion, the private sector has a real fundamental role to play in the transformation of the productive patterns in a way that is more sustainable and compatible with the climate and the environment. As Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said last May at the Business Summit on Climate Change in Copenhagen, and I quote, "A strong message from the business community to governments worldwide may make all the difference. Business leaders must make it clear to their leaders that doing the right thing for the climate is also the smart thing for global competitiveness and long-term prosperity. Any multinational business that doesn't have a strategy in place to deal with climate change will end up on the losing side of history." And that was in the words of Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. My government is implementing this philosophy. It is implementing it by addressing energy needs in a framework of partnership with the private sector that has already understood that renewable sources and energy efficiency are very critical to guaranteeing future competitiveness on the markets. All of these themes were discussed last May at a meeting in Rome of the energy ministers of the G8 countries and the emerging economies, which account for more than 80% of the world energy supply and demand. The meeting was also the occasion for convening an energy business forum with the private sector. All the participating countries in Rome undertook the following commitments. First, to promote the recovery by fostering a transition toward an economy characterized by high energy efficiency, technological innovation, and low carbon emissions. Second, to launch 20 large-scale pilot projects for carbon capture and storage at the global level by 2010. Third, to promote investments aimed at energy efficiency and savings. Fourth, to promote cleaner, low-carbon emission energy technologies. Following the energy ministers' meeting, the L'Aquila G8 Summit launched a global platform for low-carbon technologies in order to connect among them all the international fora and initiatives. And the International Energy Agency will follow up in the next few months with a specific proposal. The G8 leaders have also promoted a new vision for an open, innovative, sustainable, and equitable world economy. In the statement by the major economic forum on energy and climate, the leaders decided to remove barriers and create incentives to accelerate deployment, diffusion, and transfer of low-carbon technologies to stimulate, indeed, the green revolution that we are expecting for the global economy. A green revolution is crucial if we want to reinvigorate economic growth, guarantee energy access and security, and win the battle against climate change. The ultimate aim of the G8 is to facilitate the worldwide spread of low-carbon technologies, and Italy has a program in place, as an example, and quoting this as a very significant example, as a program for the promotion of renewable sources of energy in the Pacific small island developing states, a program that is considered a best practice by the beneficiary countries. I hope that the works of this conference will contribute to formulating ideas of practical use in responding to the global challenges we face, and I wish the best discussion to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your attention.